In this task, we'll explore our lab data and learn how to perform a join. So here I have QGIS desktop open, and I've added the counties layer for lab 2. Now I'm going to open up the attribute table and see what kind of data we have to work with. So I can see that there's 3,283 records in this table. And I can see on the left-hand side, I've got a column for area and one for perimeter. This data set is in the geographic coordinate system, so these values are in degrees. So that's very difficult to work with and not terribly useful. On the right, though, I can see that there's a column with the square mileage of each county, which is probably much more useful to us. There's some sort of county ID, then I've got the state abbreviation, the county name, something called FIPS codes, which we'll talk about in a minute, and state FIPS. So we've got some data in here that could be useful, the county name, the state abbreviation, the square mileage. But what we're really interested in doing here is making a map of total population, and we don't have that data in our attribute table. Fortunately, someone's given us a table with just that information in it. I'm going to use the Add Vector Data button, and this is just a flat table. It doesn't have any spatial features. It is not a GIS data set. And when I open up my lab data folder, right now I've got the filter set to Esri shapefiles, so I don't see that table. I'm going to switch this to all files, and now I'll see this CE2000T DBF file. I'm going to click open, and now I can see that this table's been added to the table of contents. I'm going to right-click on the table and choose Open Attribute Table and see what kind of data we have to work with. I see the same FIPS and county columns in here that I had in my counties GIS layer, but then I've got quite a few other columns in here. Population 2000, males, females, literally a couple dozen columns of different socioeconomic factors. That is a lot of useful information that I'd like to work with. But this data is in a flat table and it's not attached to my counties layer. So it would be great to append this data to the counties layer. And to do so, I'll need a unique ID field common to both the counties attribute table and this standalone table. And I might initially think that county would work. However, I can sort this counties layer, and right at the top I can see that there are many entries for Adams County. Adams County occurs in several different states. So that is not a unique ID that would identify every record in this table. The FIPS code is what I want. And FIPS provides unique codes for each state and county, and then all the census geographies such as tract, block group, and block. This 5-digit FIPS code is a combination of state and county. The first 2 digits are the state FIPS code, and the last 3 digits are the county FIPS code. And you'll see the state FIPS code is in this column here, and you'll see the 45 here is the same as the first 2 digits in this FIPS column. So this is the field that I can use to join the standalone table to my GIS data. So I'm going to close this table. To perform the join, I'm going to open up the layer properties for my counties layer, and I'm going to choose the Joins tab. To create the join, I simply click the Add Join button, and I'm going to choose my join layer, which is the table. The join field is FIPS, and the target field is also FIPS. It just so happens in this situation that the column has the same name in both tables. That is not a requirement. They just need to contain the same common ID. So now I'll click OK, and I can see my join has been added, and I'll click OK. And now let me open up my attribute table for my counties layer, and I can see that all of those socioeconomic data from the standalone table have now been appended to my attribute table. This join that we've created only exists within the QGIS document. In other words, the extra fields aren't physically appended to the shapefile. To make this join permanent, I'll save out a copy of my shapefile as a new shapefile. It will bring all the appended layers with it. So I'll right-click on my GIS layer, choose Save As, click Browse, and I'll simply call this Counties Census. Check Add Saved File to Map, and click OK. Turn off my original layer, open up the attribute table for my new one to prove to myself that this worked. And sure enough, there's all of my data now physically appended to that shapefile. In the next task, you'll learn how to classify the newly joined data to make what is known as a chloropleth or data map.